Hi everyone, welcome to Dear Masteries, and today we have a letter that reads, Dear Masteries, I've heard that when you go off a low-carb diet that you gain a lot of weight back. Is this true? Signed, Gain After Low Carb. This is a very good question. Some people are really concerned about, well, I go on to low carb and I start to lose body weight because I'm getting rid of the carbs and the water's going with it. But when I go back on it, I go back to eating carbohydrates and things, will I gain that weight back? And, I try not to think of it as total weight as my primary focus. I try to instead think of body fat. There is a difference between weight and body fat, and some people don't quite yet understand that difference. Where body weight, you could weigh 300 pounds, a nice chiseled physique, really, really defined and have abs and just really good definition in your muscles and everything like that. And does the total weight matter? No, it's the body fat that matters, okay? Or maybe you weigh 100 pounds and maybe you have a belly. Yeah, that happens. And you don't have that leanness and definition. Does that 100 pounds matter? No. It's the body fat that matters. It's what you look like. And that's what most people are thinking about. They're thinking of that image and they associate the weight with the image. And unfortunately, that's a misconception. It's not real. It's not true. I can put two 130-pound women who have the same height next to each other, and their body compositions could be completely different. Even though they're exact same height, exact same weight, they can look completely opposite, and one will look heavier than the other, and one can have really nice lines throughout their abs, not a full 6 or 8 pack, but just nice outline, and have a really nice slim physique. And the other one can still have a belly and still carry a lot of body fat. But they both are the same height and exact same weight. Okay? So we need to start thinking about body fat as our major measurement. Okay? When we go off a low carb style diet, so for example, if you've been following me on 121days.com, you'll see and you'll notice that I've been going through the lower carb style of dieting, strong body system, a little more flexible, lean, we start to tighten up a bit, and ripped, we get, pretty strict. So in the ripped, when I start going back into lean and strong, I may start to see a slower weight loss than I have going into it. So when I came into it, my weight loss was a little faster, and when I go back out of it, it might slow down a bit. Now, that being said, I've been optimizing my hormonal responses and the hormones in my body, so I may not see a dramatic difference. I may just keep on the same pace. However, there's a limit to how much weight you can lose, and I'm starting to get into more difficult territory where my body fat percentage is getting low. So, not really low, but low, okay? I'm getting into more of an athletic area, and that's when it starts to get tough to start to really lose those pounds. So I got some work cut out for me, but I'm going to show you how to get through that if you are at the percentage of body fat that I will be. There's ways you can get around that. Now, for those that might not be there yet or might not be close to the body fat percentage I am, it might not make that big a difference. However, if your body starts storing carbohydrates, it converts it into glucose and puts it into your muscles, and you start storing that, and you store 3 grams of water for that 1 gram of glycogen that's in your muscle, then yes, you might see a difference in the scale for weight, okay? You might see a difference in your measurements. However, the difference in your abdomen versus the difference in some of the other body parts, it should balance out if you're using the navel circumference method, okay? You can do the caliper test where you're starting to measure certain parts and get that body fat reading, and you want to do multiple measurements and then take the average. And if you do that, then you'll get a little better understanding and reading, and it should be really good. But yes, you might gain weight going back in from a low carb to maybe a traditional style of dieting or whatnot. But there's a lot of factors. There always are. There's always a lot of factors. You know, how are your hormones responding? If you've optimized your hormones, you're going to get away with eating certain foods that you couldn't before going on a lower carb diet, because your body's going to use them more efficiently. Also, you've probably cleared out a lot of junk in your system from your lymph nodes or from whatever. Maybe you started exercising, you never did that before. So maybe your body can process a lot more junk than it used to. Your liver might now be clean, which is going to help with so many things. You know, perhaps your body has an increased metabolic rate now, so your metabolism's higher, maybe you're burning more, so you might get away with a little more. Now, I'm not suggesting that you try it and push the limit. What I'm suggesting is that, you know, going from a low carb to a traditional or other style of dieting, you may not experience that huge weight swing that you might be thinking, because your body's now different. Okay? So would you experience, some people might experience a big weight gain. There's a lot of competitive bodybuilding athletes in different categories or disciplines that will go really hard into dieting, and they'll be doing everything they can to strip weight off. 2 workouts a day plus cardio, you know, completely eliminating all the sugars and carbs. And then as soon as that contest is over, right back into the standard sort of dieting, standard body system. And sometimes they don't go to the gym for a few weeks. Sometimes they just pizza and all the alcohol and all the sweets and everything, because they deprive themselves so much to get into that shape. And then 2 weeks later, you see them on the street and you're like, hey. you do a bit of a double take on it. Yeah, that's them, because they change so much. And a lot of people have that. They don't rebound from that diet the way they probably should have, and it can cause a lot of issues. Sometimes the hormones get all out of whack, and their emotions change, and then they have that body image issue where they know what they looked like a couple weeks ago, and now they see themselves and are like, oh my God, what happened? It doesn't take long sometimes. It can only take 2 to 3 days. If you're really pushing that, your body will change and adapt. That's the wonderful thing about our bodies. It's designed to adapt to whatever you put onto it. And it tries to make you as healthy as it can based on what you're giving it and what you're doing for it. Okay? So, can you gain a lot of weight? Yes, you can. If you do it properly, will you? No. If you do it properly, will you gain any body fat? No. Okay? So, you just need to make sure you're doing it the right way. Does that mean you can never have sugar again? No, absolutely not. I can't wait actually to get back into the lean system. You know, I'm going to stay true here on the RIP system. I do have one day that I'm going to, after supper, I'm going to have an evening where I'm just going to take maybe about an hour, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to have some good stuff, because I've been so far really good on the RIP body system, which is really strict, and I'm just going to need to give myself a little break. And actually I'm going to do a couple blog posts on 120days.com about carb cycling or backloading and stuff like that, so people can kind of understand how that works. And yeah, so that's currently what I'm doing there. So yes, you can gain weight when you go off a low carb, but if you do it properly, you shouldn't. And if you need any help with that, go ahead, check me out on Masteries.com. There's a lot of different things that I can help you out with, so you can reach your goal and do it in a way that you feel good and you don't feel like this is torture. So yeah, go ahead. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow. If you have any questions for me, go to dearmasteries.com, submit your question. I tell you how to do it there, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks a lot.